Hey everyone, Maury Curtis Dunbar here at Painted Studios. Welcome back. We are steamrolling right into Christmas. We've been doing all kinds of great projects for the last couple of months. Yeah, we did Halloween, then we moved right into Christmas. So today we're going to work on a big cutout that I'm sort of leaning towards a little more New Year's. We're going to do a jar full of stars, and I'll cover that one with you. Just a friendly reminder, today is, I always have to check the calendar because I can't ever remember the date. Today is the 17th of December. We are having our Advent calendar sale, so the special product today is our wooden cutouts. The only exception is the new reindeer ornaments that came in yesterday or the day before. We're already blown out of almost all of them. We just have one or two left. So we're not putting those on sale, but all the other cutouts, including our shapes like our snowmen, those are on sale. So definitely go over to paintedstudio.com into under the paintable surfaces and check out what's available. All right, so we're going to go, and nice to see everybody here. Hey, Barbara and Donna and Lisa and Diana, thank you all for popping in. So we're going to work on a couple of our new because our sale product today is cutout shapes. We're going to work on a couple. So we're going to flip the screen down. And in front of me, you can see I have one of our little wooden cutouts. Now, they come raw wood. One side will have a little bit of singeing on these. These are laser cut. Hey, Diana, thanks for popping in. So you can paint either side. This little bit of singeing makes no difference. Normally I have both sides painted, but I wanted you to be able to see what the raw wood looked like. And this side is just painted with a coating of set coat black. Now you can go and do any kind of creative painting on here. You could even start doing, if you had a jigsaw or something, you wanted to cut out some stuff, you could even do that. But we're going full force foil on these. So I have applied my set coat black on here. It's cured up. And now we're applying a layer of Artsyville foil adhesive. Now, Artsyville foil adhesive does not level when you brush it. So whatever brush application you use will leave a little bit of a tell on here. You'll have either some brush strokes or some stipple marks or whatever. So when possible, I try to make my brush strokes part of the project, make it part of the final look. So I've done circles here for the snowman top and bottom. I just want to come back in here because it looked a little thin on the adhesive down there. And then for the top hat, I'm just going straight across. And I will come and clean up any little blobs of adhesive that roll over the sides. And now this has to cure for an hour or more. Minimum of an hour. You need a good firm tack on it. If you don't have a good firm tack, not only will the foil not release well, but you're also going to have issues with it possibly even when you put the foil on and buff it down, peeling it up, and you're gonna peel, you could peel all the way down to the raw surface, past the paint, everything. You won't get foil released, you'll have everything removed. Okay, so this is our mason jar shape. And I primed it with black set coat, and then I applied a layer of foil adhesive. So I'm gonna turn on a little extra light so everybody can see me better. And the first thing we're gonna do is put on our foils. And I gotta move a few things around here just so I don't knock things over or ruin stuff. Takes a second to get organized. Here we go, here's my scrubber. And we're gonna start with the lid area, which is right here. Now, I just scratched a line in there with my fingernail, which was intentional, because that's gonna help me lay out my foil. There's gonna be a little curve there, because it's a jar lid. And I could do it this way, but I'd kind of like to do it We're going to use our silver waterfall foil. So I'd like to do this with a slight horizontal on it. So we're going to have to cut a couple pieces probably to do this. So again, our silver waterfall foil. This is a fabric-friendly foil, so you can use it on all kinds of stuff. Let me cut a slight curve here. I just want it to look a little like the edge of a jar. I'm going to move this off of there. Fortunately, I didn't get the wrong side down and get foil release that I wasn't ready for. I need to lay this out so I can see how I cut it, which was badly. You can see I got this weird line that I cut because I was trying to do it quick. And yeah, that didn't work well for me. Got a little curve, and that'll just give me that nice defining edge for the jar lid, and we're going to put that right down there. And I only really have a little tiny bit to catch up on here. Now again, I'm looking down at what I'm doing, so I may not catch every remark, so if I miss something that you've said, please know I always go back and read the comments and try to answer any questions that I've missed. I'm using my little scrub brush and I'm going right to the edge because I do want a sharp, clean line there. Why? Because this is the lid of a jar. Oh yeah, that came out nicely. Need a little help right there. I obviously did not scrub there. There's that. And then I just need to deal with a little bit right here along these edges. Because the lid was just a tad wider than the foil. With my finger, make sure we got all of these things done. Now, you're going to always have a little bit of a broken release because the surface, first of all, the foil adhesive, when you brush it on, has a little bit of a texture, and this is mounted on a film. So if your film happens to be a little stiff, like some of these are, it doesn't go into those crevices as easily. If you're not happy with a broken release, apply another layer of foil adhesive and go at it again. All right, so we finished with that one. And then we're going to do our mason jar in our silver cloud foil. This also comes in gold, but today we're using silver. All right, I'm pulling it off to the side so I can cut a nice sized piece. We'll probably need a couple of pieces on this one. Right, so I'm laying it over, getting most of this down, and I'm going to rub it with my hand. I am not going all the way to this edge because I don't want a hard seam. I want a blurred edge there so that when I put more foil on this side, I don't have a harsh line. Now, what you're seeing here is a bubble, and I love when I get those bubbles because that means I can kind of push the foil even harder to the surface because that bubble shows that I've released almost everything there, and so I can move on to other areas. So if I can get a good bubble going, it's really fun for me because I can kind of make the release of this even better. Gotta make sure I get all the edges. And there we go. Nice release. Look how pretty that is. And again, it's not a perfect release. There's still some left on the back. Is there another way to brush this on? But yes, you can roll this on, but the rolling will give you a little bit of a stippled texture as opposed to a brush texture. This foil adhesive, you don't thin it more than 2 to 5% if it started to thicken, because if you thin it enough so that it lays level, you're killing the adhesive quality of it. And really, you just kind of have to embrace some of these things for exactly what they are. I know some people have tried sanding. I personally never found that to be successful. All I do is screw up my adhesive and get really, really weird lines in it. All right, so there's the last of the foil adhesive, and as you saw, I kind of draped it over. So I made sure I got full coverage and had a good overlap on here. All right, so I can see just by the way it's grabbing that this is right where my adhesive, my sticky adhesive ends. So I have to be careful. I don't want to scrub over that line because then I could end up with a funny dull scrubbed spot. So I'm just paying attention to where everything is. Okay, so already that is beyond adorable. We have a cloudy mason jar with a silver lid. And there is a vague appearance of a line there. I'm not even worried. And really what this is this silver overlapping into the thin spots on this black. But if you don't like it, you can come back, put a little foil over that, scrub it down, and it doesn't change a darn thing. Because why? You're scrubbing over already released foil. I just want to check for any spot. So I've got this already all set. And now where did I put my, okay, here we go. So what this is going to say on here is a jar, stars in a jar. Now clearly I've made this too long. That's the benefit of this thing. I can cut my letters, my words apart and space them the way I want to. Now I had reduced the spacing on this already a ton when I cut it, but it still is just too wide apart because I couldn't remember how wide the jar was when I started doing the measuring. And that's fine, because I'll just fix it so it does fit. All right. So now I have to turn this towards me so I can see it centered. Forgive me, I know it's going to be upside down for you all. But if I don't do this, I honestly can't see it correctly. All right. Now, let's make sure I got this burnished well, so that it'll come off onto the mounting tape instead of saying stuck to the backing. And of course it wants to stay stuck to the backing because that's the kind of stuff this is. These metallic foils or metallic vinyls, whatever they're called, can have a moment of challenge to them. So I cut this in my Cricut Maker. I chose the words, I created the phrase, and then, that's not center. Well, it's sticking, so this better be close enough to center. I was going to shift it. Oh well. All right. Let me get the center word here, the top word here. I have a burnisher floating around, but it's probably shoved under something right now, so I will have no problem using whatever's around to help me get the job done. It's not as good as a real burnisher though. Ooh, come on, you little stinkers. Don't stay stuck. Go stick to the backing material, for heaven's sake. Oh, I got a little centerpiece to pull out right here that I missed in the weeding, so that's okay. Oop, let's not stick to me, people. Oh, come on. Everything wants to stick to me today. There we go. There's that piece out. Almost done, almost done. Now, you don't have to line this up neatly either. You can just randomly apply the words anywhere when you do this. Darn it, I just got that stuck to my finger. So now I gotta line this up correctly. Attract more everything but money and men. What can I tell you? Things just like to stick to me. And if anybody ever wonders where that phrase comes from, that's an old Steel Magnolias thing. From early on, Dolly Parton was talking about hair sticking all over her sweater, and she said, honey, there's so much static in here, I attract everything but money and men. Still one of my favorite phrases. Okay, so we have stars, jar. So I need in, Okay, so now I gotta space this a little bit. I'm cutting this down just so I get a better visual idea of how I need to space this, because this is on here so big that really I can't begin to come close to spacing it correctly. My field is distracting, meaning there's too much chatter from the grid on here, and I have too much paper surrounding everything, so I'm not seeing it as well the way I want to. Okay, so I think I'm pretty good with stars in. I'm gonna go in. Go ahead and take that. That's pretty good. Okay, so let's take that off. Now, I promise you, this is generally much easier if I burnished it down correctly. I did not. I gotta live with that. So be patient with me. And okay. Now all I have to do is get the A on, and then we can finish the decorating and call it completed. Peeled off here. So my latest show to binge watch is Parking Wars. Mostly because, again, it's a little like other court TV shows. I'm just amazed at what people can try to get away with. So it kind of entertains me a lot to watch it. Okay, stars in a jar. All right, so now we have all of our lettering on, but there's no stars in our jar. So I guess I might want to take some stars that I cut and put them all over this. I am not even bothering with transfer tape for these because they're all little, and it'll all just be simpler if I handle them like stickers. Oops, let's not slap so fast we don't get it stuck properly. And this is just Cricut holographic glitter vinyl. You can get it at Michael's. No, I don't carry the vinyl. I carry the cutouts, I carry the foils, I carry the adhesives. I don't carry the vinyl. Let's put some other stars on here. I have some silver ones too, because it isn't all going to be just gold. So if you watch, I am not at all paying attention to where I'm putting these things, other than to make sure they don't overlap something else. I need it to be as random as possible, and the best way for me to be random is to not really pay attention to what I'm doing. Because when I look at this carefully and try to randomize, yeah, that doesn't happen. I get too deeply into my own head, and I just don't accomplish what I want to get done. It looks forced. When I try to go random and I think it too hard, think it over too hard. So really all I'm just doing is looking for empty spaces that I could put something in and not have it overlap something. I can do that there. Get as many of these on here as humanly possible without destroying the pattern. One more. Oh, I had one more big gold one here. I was going to try to stick it in something, in a letter, but yeah, that was going to come out perverted no matter how I said it. I was going to try to stick this star into the inside of a letter, but it didn't work. It was a little too big. What I had left was too big. So we'll try a couple of these last little silver ones, get them all on. No, that's just going to cover that the wrong way. could put more stars on here, I could put less. But look how cute this is. I've got stars in a jar. Okay, I'm gonna flip the camera up and I'll come back a little bit so you can see it a little better. Look how cute that is. And it just needs a little top coat. Clearly, if I wanted to, I could be more detailed. I could paint the ridges into the rim of my jar. I could paint a little loop. I could give it a little more perspective. That's a possibility. But again, stars in a jar. How cute is that already? Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have one last project to work on, and it's a small one. So you know we've got the foil adhesive drying on our snowman. He's not going to be ready for quite a while, but we do have one other cutout. We have our little Christmas ornament one. So we're going to have a little fun and do some, we're going to play with this with the Garrison glitter, and I'm pulling some stuff together that I kind of like as a combination. So we've got the Hearts of Gold one, and I think we're just going to go red and red and red here. Red and gold. Keep it red and gold, no green on this one. Alrighty. And we're going to do this in stripes, and it's going to be different stripes, different widths. And if you've never seen stripes done, this is going to be fun for you all. Okay, let me cut this straight across, because that's going to give us our stripes. All right, so for those not familiar, I'm going to give a quick run over. Foil adhesive brushed on needs a minimum of an hour to dry. We're going to go with it for over an hour. This has been curing for probably a good 2 hours. You want a good firm tack. If you don't have a good firm tack, sorry, you're looking at my chin and not at my face. Yes, you can use a regular paintbrush, a sponge brush, or a roller. I'm not a fan of sponge brushes, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people love them because they're inexpensive, but sponge brushes to me tend to be messy. They shred, that center prop thing breaks. I prefer a good brush over a sponge brush almost every day. There's times that I use sponge brushes and they're very helpful, but they are not my go-to brush. All right, so I brushed all of my foil adhesive on this in a vertical way, so we're going to do vertical stripes because I'm going to embrace the texture I brushed onto this. If I wanted horizontal stripes, I could have brushed it this way. I brushed vertically, so we're going to take advantage of that and do some stripes. Now, I am not carefully measuring clearly on how wide I'm making my stripes. I'm doing this by eyeball. Not a big deal, not hard to do. I'm just trying to get it close to the same on both sides. I'm also not worrying if my release is a little imperfect. That's not going to be a problem. All right, so we're going to take some Gold Hearts foil. I'm going to come back in, and I'm going to make this a very thin stripe compared to what was already done. And I'm just doing it with my fingernail or my finger, and then I'm going to come up with my scrub brush. Nice stripe. It's a pretty stripe. And if I get gold back in here, that doesn't matter to me. That's going to actually kind of add to the look. I turn things around just so I can have a clean, straight edge. How much did I give myself? About that much. If I really needed this to be perfectly even, I would have it all marked out down here along the sides, either with tape or chalk so I could see it clearly. I'm not worrying about it that much, obviously, because my two stripes are not exactly the same exact size. Okay, I'm going to take my foil back. I'm going to come in and do another stripe in the red. And this is going to be a fairly bold stripe. And I'm going, again, right up to the edge because I want a nice stripe on there. Let's take a look and see how. That's a good stripe. Another bold stripe on this side, probably a little wider than the other side if I'm looking at it carefully. So what? This is the beauty of hand painted. I'm not a machine. I don't try for machine-like perfection. That's nice. Look how nice that looks. And then we're going to take the Garrison glitter. Tape back on my roll. Yeah, be careful where I'm throwing foils because I keep forgetting there's open foil adhesive over there. Okay, we're going to take this one, put it right down the center. Okay, my hands are really nice and warm, so that's going to help this release easily. And I got a little bubble so I can see that just rubbing this is getting really good release. Do not let your rings scratch. So if you have rings on, either take them off or burnish with your palm like I'm doing so you don't get your rings or your watch or anything else scratching. And then you can take your brush, do a little wing there. Okay, so super cute stripes, but I still have to do, excuse me, the crown. There we go. So we need to do this part, and I think just to make it a little different, we should just do a little bit of the green on there because it's really bright. And it'll offset it, although the black does look nice with it. I just need something different than what's already on there to give it a little bit of a look. And when you buy the set, the topper comes with it. So you have all the parts already available. You don't have to order toppers separately. Something went up my nose and made me start sneezing. It's probably too much glitter. Okay, so how cute is that? And we just take, where did I put it? My wood glue, which is over here. Okay, so the goal is to put this on, but make sure you get it up high enough so that this part does not show. All right, so I'm going to take my wood glue. That's more than enough. Yeah, I could use a brush. I could use a lot of things, but clearly the tool of choice today was my fingers. Okay. Now, if I'm at all concerned, because I have a little seepage right there, where did my little Q-tips go? keep moving things. I want to blame other people, but really it's me. I'll find my little Q-tips and clean that up. So that's too smeary for even me to be able to say, we'll let it go. Let me see if I can find my little Q-tips. I want to center that so it stays properly. And since I'm not finding my Q-tips because I've cleaned up so well that I forgot where I put them, I'm going to use a paintbrush to clean it up. Wood glue, this wood glue dries a little yellow, so that's why I don't want to have it, it won't dry crystal clear, so I don't want to leave it there. I want to make sure I've cleaned it all off. There we go. All right, so that's going to dry just darling. And if you missed yesterday's live, we also did our little mason jar cut out and our little reindeer cut out. And then of course, quick reminder, we did our mason jar, stars in a jar mason jar cut out. And that is very sort of New Year's celebratory to me. Let me flip this up, get a little higher. There we go. All right, let me take a quick roll back and see if I missed anything that I can't answer, that I didn't answer earlier. What's the paper I'm called using? It's not paper, it's foils. So this is foil. It comes on, we have it on rolls here in the studio, and you buy it by the foot. And you apply our Artsyville foil adhesive to the surface of whatever it is you're creating. Let it come to a firm tack after about an hour. Apply this not pretty side down. Give it a scrub and a rub. Peel it back like a temporary tattoo, and you get fabulous metallization and fun patterns. So that's what that is, and I hope I made it a little clearer now with my explanation. Do you have to use the brush? I use the brush because foils are originally designed to be released with heat. So if you look at like a paperback novel on the front that might have had a bright red metallic dripping of blood, like if it was a murder book. So, or a guy was wearing a shiny gun on his hip, or a girl was wearing a metallic dress on the cover of a book. Well, this is the materials that they used to get that there, only they used heat on top of that. So they used a heat press to get it to release. And as a result, foils don't like cold. Foils want to be kept at room temperature, and room temperature meaning about 70 degrees. The adhesive doesn't like to be cold. So that's why you might, why we use the brush. Because since we don't use heat, we need to create some friction and some pressure to have it release on the adhesive. If you just use your hand, you might get a great release, but you might still have some patchy spots. So the brush goes back in with a little more force to shove it down onto the surface and give you a more complete release. You can use, if you're having a hard time, and I know Desiree, who's watching now, has had this happen and can attest. If you think, even though you think everything's fine and dandy and warm enough, if you're having problems with your foil release, take your hairdryer. While you just warm the surface, once you've laid everything out, just blow on it gently with a low temperature hairdryer to warm the surface, and rub it with your hands while you're doing it. Put the hairdryer away, let it cool off for a second, then release the foil. It's a great trick when your foils are not releasing well. And some of you have not been playing with foils as long as I have. When foils first came out, we didn't have a good adhesive like you do with Artsyville foil adhesive. We had adhesives that gave us, if we were lucky, 50% release. It was really bad. I used them in my own home. I did a doorway and did some stuff on walls with it. And I literally foiled stuff 4 and 5 times to get a really good coverage. This is the coverage I would be praying for, and I didn't get it. So I'm telling you, this is a great product. This is a great adhesive. It must be you must top coat over your foils. Otherwise, the foils being only a few microns thick are delicate. So you don't want to scratch them, you don't want to scrape them off. Definitely top coat over them. Let's see if I missed anything else. I think I just covered the texture question with Mare a little while ago. All right, and I appreciate all of you popping in. So I think we're done. We're gonna call it at the end of the day. I love this. I think this is so cute. And I gotta tell you, I am just loving my stars in a jar. This just made me so happy today. And I'm not a mason jar person, which my husband will laugh at because I have these plastic mason jar sippy cups that I drink water from at night. And I have those because I can't spill them as easily, not because I like mason jar sippy cups. But that is my new favorite mason jar thing ever. So, all right, everybody, it is, oh God, it's late. It's 20 to 7. It's time to say goodnight. It's time for me to go home. I'm gonna have some dinner. I need to clean up the messes I've made around here today so I can find my way to the front door tomorrow. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Don't forget, all our wooden cutouts, with the exception of this reindeer ornament, are on sale today until 11:59 for 25% off. Take advantage of the sale. Don't miss out on it. All right, everybody, I'll talk to you later. Have a good night. Bye-bye.